The gangster rap world has been shaken again, this time by the violent death of the performer known as Notorious B.I.G.
The rapper was rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He was pronounced dead a short time later.
His rhyming skills and flow and innovative production propelled him to worldwide fame.
Check it out, it's Notorious B.I.G.
A larger-than-life figure from Brooklyn, New York, his raw talent lifted him from the streets.
Either you was stealing or you was hustling, one of the two, or you was a nobody. Then I was a hustler, and then boom, I was a rapper.
His lyrics had an honesty born of harsh experience that fans found compelling.
You will eventually die or go to jail. That's a fact.
But in the early hours of March 9th, 1997, the Notorious B.I.G. was gunned down in a drive-by shooting in downtown Los Angeles. For decades, police have hunted for his killer, but still no one has been brought to trial.
With access to Biggie's autopsy report and his police file, I'm going to investigate what was happening in his life in the weeks, days, and hours leading up to his death, and see whether this sheds new light on how and why he was killed. And I'll use this evidence to look for a motive for his murder and help identify his killer.
Dr. Michael Hunter is a world-renowned forensic pathologist. He's performed over 4,000 autopsies to investigate and reveal the cause of death. Today, he's the chief medical examiner in one of America's largest cities. He's now investigating the death of rapper, the Notorious B.I.G. Real name Christopher Wallace, affectionately known as Biggie Smalls. With access to privileged police information and Biggie's recently released autopsy report, he's hoping to shed new light on this still unsolved cold case.
Looking at the autopsy report, the first thing I noticed is that Biggie was shot 4 times. Shot 4 times. Shot 4 times.
Near fatal shooting, but he couldn't survive a second. Rap star Tupac Shakur died last night after a brief life in a rough business. He was 25. Here's NBC's Stan Bernard.
You know they got me trapped in this prison of seclusion.
Tupac Shakur rode to fame and riches on his often violent vision of life in the inner city. That vision turned out to be prophetic. His own death from multiple gunshot wounds. And his devoted fans who believed his rap litany mirrored their lives are mourning. For many, Shakur's reputation as a gifted rap artist was more important than his history, his rap sheet. When he was shot in this car in Las Vegas, he was out on bail while appealing a 4.5-year sentence for sexual assault. And he had been shot before when someone, he said, tried to rob him. But Shakur, who was also an actor, said in a recent interview, the harsh realities of his life made him different from other performers.
No one alive, I think, with sanity has as much life experience to draw from. And I think that's the only thing that breaks me apart from the pack.
And his early death underlines another terrible reality, the early mortality of black men.
A lot of us are still trying to figure out who we are, and when you have to try to figure out who you are inside of a public limelight the way he did, it's very, very difficult.
It seems the rain will never let up. I try to keep my head up and still keep from getting wetter.
Tupac Shakur, perhaps personified by the words "thug life" tattooed on his stomach, said his success was due to his life and his career being so closely intertwined.
11:17 p.m. tonight, we had several vehicles traveling eastbound on Flamingo. Officers were at the Maxim Hotel investigating a stolen vehicle when they heard several gunshots being fired down below. They saw a caravan of about 5 cars that were traveling eastbound, heard the shots again. Approximately 12 to 13 shots were fired. The officers saw the black BMW followed by a black BMW station wagon and 3 other cars make a U-turn on Flamingo near the Maxim Hotel. They made a U-turn, proceeded westbound, coming onto Las Vegas Boulevard where they were driving very erratically. They radioed that they heard the gunfire and saw these vehicles traveling in such an erratic fashion. Other officers who were working the strip area were able to get the vehicles stopped here. As you see, the black BMW was traveling on the rims on the right side. The person, as you are already aware, who was the passenger in this vehicle is a known rap performer by the name of Tupac Shakur. Once they got here, they found that the passenger in the black BMW had been shot 4 times.
Looking at the autopsy report, the first thing I noticed is that Biggie was shot 4 times.
Once they got here, they found that the passenger in the black BMW had been shot 4 times.
Terug in Vegas voor een interview met de laatste man die Tupac gezien heeft. Lijkschouwer Robert Jordan. Hij verrichtte de sectie op Tupac's lichaam. The official cause of his death.
Multiple gunshot wounds. He was shot 3 times, I believe, or 3 that I identified.
Yeah.
And we had him identified by fingerprints. So I didn't know him personally. So if it wasn't Tupac Shakur, I don't know who it was. He was shot 3 times, I believe, or 3 that I identified.
The person, as you are already aware, who was the passenger in this vehicle is a known rap performer by the name of Tupac Shakur. Once they got here, they found that the passenger in the black BMW had been shot 4 times.
After exiting the museum, an individual who everybody knows is Notorious Big, a notorious rap singer, was shot and killed after he had left the location. Up on the board behind me shows a diagram in which he was in the lead Suburban, followed by another Suburban with bodyguards, when the suspect vehicle, which is a dark, we believe, sedan, drove up along to the right side of the vehicle, fired numerous shots into the passenger door of the Suburban, hitting Mr. Big numerous times.
Going to 662, fall in. Follow us.
There is this mysterious odd connection between both rap stars Tupac Shakur and his quote-unquote rival Biggie Smalls, also known as the Notorious B.I.G. What people don't know is that there is a much deeper connection than what is on the surface that is right in plain sight but never noticed. It's quite ironic that Tupac Shakur was born in 1971. A year before Biggie Smalls was born in 1972. What's more astonishing is that Tupac died in 1996. A year before Biggie Smalls, who died right after him in 1997. So Tupac, born a year before Biggie, would also die a year before Biggie as well. similar to the animated sitcom The Simpsons and many other cartoons and movies. It seems as though that the music industry as well utilizes predictive programming of all the elite celebrities who somehow release an album with an album title that alludes to their so-called death before it actually takes place, which leads me to believe that celebrities do not die. Only the character that they play on the world stage dies.
You have to understand the secret societies, the fraternal orders that are operating within our border. And the people who are in power in this country are working for our enemies. They are using the terms and the symbols and the words and the catchphrases of the European secret societies. They are working for our enemies. This is why no matter what you do, nothing is going to work, because the people of this country don't understand the symbols.
All of the entertainers, which are the athletes, rappers, singers, comedians, television personalities, presidents, popular YouTubers, etc. that you see in Hollywood and now on social media all have staged families. Their backgrounds are nothing more than staged fairy tale stories manufactured by the occult, who they use as puppets to push their agendas, to influence our culture and to keep this simulation moving forward. The characters that are constantly in the public eye are nothing more than undercover agents with fake stage names. A radio personality who goes by the same name as Biggie Smalls' alleged daughter Tiana Wallace has very close ties with the music industry, did a PSA YouTube video stressing that she was not Biggie Smalls' real daughter. The location of the video took place at Biggie Smalls' daughter's store in New York alongside Biggie's alleged first baby mother. Everyone who has followed Biggie know that she looks nothing like Biggie's real daughter. This video was done purposely as a subliminal way of revealing to the masses that Tiana Wallace is not Biggie's real daughter.
You watch the movie, and you see that part right there, right? And you see your mom and she coming and tell, hey, I'm pregnant and I'm keeping it. What goes through your mind, even though you know you the baby in the stomach?
A lot of, okay.
Anybody ever asked you that?
First things first, I'm gonna have to clear this up. My parents weren't teen parents.
Oh.
That was one thing that was in the movie that was a little
That was bullshit.
I'll say fabricated. I don't want to say bullshit, but they weren't teen parents. My mom was 22, my dad was 20 when they had me.
Get out of here!
Yeah.
So it wasn't no high school?
No, it wasn't. They've known each other since high school. My mom and my dad met when he was 17.
I feel a certain kind of way right now.
I don't want to ruin your dreams. I'm sorry.
Wow! Like, what else is some bullshit?
I'm not telling anything else.
Come on, man, you can't do me like this.
The movie's gonna be boring.
No, we done already seen it. We done seen it. Now you making the movie brand new for me, so I can go back and watch it. Hey, yo, check this out. I interviewed her. This some bullshit. This some bullshit. This is some bullshit.
It's not that stuff is
Please
fake.
do that for me.
It's not that stuff is fake. It's just fabric. It's made to look like
it's sensationalized.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
look more extreme.
Hollywood.
According to this information I've received, Biggie Smalls' daughter got an issue with her daddy because her daddy was rough. He grew up in a rough neighborhood. He's a rough and tough person when he was still alive. And another thing, he was very, very rough looking also. And since that's her daddy, she inherited his genes. Now I ain't here to disrespect this young lady because I got nothing but love for her. She talking about she don't want to be Biggie Smalls' daughter. She told these people in the news allegedly that she don't want to be Biggie Smalls' daughter no more. She don't want to look like Biggie. She don't want to think like Biggie. She got his eating habits. It says Tiana Wallace, the daughter of deceased rapper Notorious P.I.G., has said that she is tired of being Biggie Smalls' daughter, and most importantly, she's tired of looking like Biggie Smalls. Aspiring designer opened up to Page 6 at the launch of her new clothing line called Notorious. Hold on, she said, I barely hear Biggie's daughter. I hear Tiana first, and I like that. Maybe she not understanding the name of her clothing line. You talking about, you sick of people talking about, oh, there go Biggie's daughter. Well, how the hell you think people know about your clothing line when it's called Notorious? She talking about, I want for people to call me Tiana Wallace. Well, change the name of your clothing line to Tiana Wallace Clothing, and then people wouldn't be talking about you Biggie's daughter.
Biggie is an entertainer, you know what I'm saying? He makes music and he makes videos, you know what I'm saying? That's Biggie Smalls, but Christopher Wallace is the person, you know what I'm saying? That's the one that has to take care of the family, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, the daughters, the wife, all of that. That's Christopher, you know what I'm saying? That's the real person. Oh, I leave all that Biggie stuff alone, man. I don't even like even be, well, you don't blend too much. Biggie is a completely different person. Before when artists was on screen, they was like working with a script. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't really no story about what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I guess now what we do is on big screen, like everybody can get to see what it's all about.
It is no longer a conspiracy theory that we live in a simulation, and once the world ends and it starts over, we'll end up back where we are right now. Everything has been scripted and predetermined since the beginning of time. Think about it. How else would the occult do predictive programming or reveal unreleased technology years and years before events take place or the technology comes out? The reason Tupac and Biggie careers mirror a movie because that's exactly what it was, scripted. This is why everything was planned out perfectly. Just imagine Tupac's career without Biggie and vice versa. Just imagine Tupac and Biggie careers without the East versus West Coast beef and the tragic deaths. This was a part of cementing their legacy and their careers, and what made it as thrilling as it was, parts of their scripted careers were riddles and pieces of their scripts were drawn from other popular films and TV shows.
Notorious. Chopping rocks overnight. The nigga Biggie Smalls trying to turn it to the black Frank White.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me.
Tupac and Biggie were both Geminis. The sign Gemini is depicted by the twins. Tupac versus Biggie were a prelude to the ultimate Gemini-Janus ritual. Just like in the movie Gemini Man with one of the occult's puppets, Will Smith, Gemini, also known as Janus, a split personality and two faces on the same head, one who is aggressive and short-tempered, the other calm and diplomatic, but no less evil. To switch from one face to another, and what the masses didn't know was, Tupac and Biggie were both subliminally rapping, living out and using predictive programming on each other's careers the entire time. To speak in codes and throw out hints is what the occult does. What the masses didn't know was that the occult had deceived the entire world by laying out the chain of events leading up to the deaths of both Tupac and Biggie Smalls by using predictive programming, and hiding the truth right in plain sight by having Tupac tell Biggie's story through his albums and by having Biggie tell Tupac's story through his records as well. Remember, Tupac always claimed that Wallace had stole his style and image. Biggie associated himself with thug life early in his career but became distant. This was all by design. The reason Biggie's song Who Shot Ya was rumored to be about Tupac and the Quad Studio shooting was because that rumor was scripted and intentionally spread to the masses by the occult to spark drama to transition to the next scene. Just think, if Tupac never accused Biggie of setting him up, Who Shot Ya is just a record. Biggie released Ready to Die 2 years before Tupac's death in September 1996. But Biggie started recording his Life After Death album in September 1995, a year before Tupac was killed in September 1996. Tupac then released the 7 Day Theory album, which according to Suge Knight the album was originally scheduled for release March 1997, which so happened to be the same month that Biggie Smalls died. But as a result of Tupac's death, the 7 Day Theory album was released 4 months earlier. Biggie traveled to Los Angeles, California in February 1997 to promote the release of his second album Life After Death, which so happened to be the same month Tupac released the All Eyes on Me album in 1996. Biggie's death occurred 6 months after Tupac's death. All eyes were now on Biggie, crowned as rap's new king with Tupac now out of the way. With Tupac no longer around as his rival, all eyes were now on Biggie. Remember, Biggie was heavily accused of having Tupac killed.
I knew the relationship that my son had with Tupac. He told me, Ma, Tupac is just trying to, he called him Duke. Duke is just trying to sell some records. He's an actor. He's an actor.
He's an actor.
Intelligent actor. So what he's doing, it's all an act. I'm not gonna, feed into it and we talk about that. And that's what my son said to me, and I believed him. He had nothing to do with Tupac's death because the night Tupac was shot, he came in very sad. And I said, what happens? Mom Pac's been shot.
Tupac All Eyes on Me lead single was California Love. And just like Tupac, Biggie mirrored Tupac with his Going Back to Cali song. Tupac's other hit single was 2 of America's Most Wanted, which started out like the movie Scarface, where Tupac signals his muscle to kill Biggie as revenge for setting him up. Homicide detectives are looking for Tupac and Snoop but can't find them. What the masses didn't know was the parallels between Tupac and Snoop Dogg's America's Most Wanted video and Biggie's video Hypnotized with P. Diddy. The video was also about two most wanted criminals on the run. Now in the Tupac I Ain't Mad at Ya video, Tupac tells a story about a friend he saves from being killed. What the masses didn't know that the story was actually Tupac telling the story from Biggie's perspective about having him killed and feeling guilty about his wrongdoings. Think about it. Why else would the song name be I Ain't Mad at Ya? If you notice, the character that is playing Tupac's friend has a bald head just like Tupac, just like in the lyrics in the song. Tupac was the one who went to prison, got swole, and got bailed.
You was just a little smaller, but you still roll. Got stressed to YA and hit the hood swole.
This was all a part of the Janus Gemini script. Two different faces but share the same evil. Tupac was merely describing himself throughout the entire song. Now this explains why Tupac had the notorious tattoo tatted across his arm.
But when you had it, Jerry Pearl didn't quite learn. Congratulations on the wedding.
Just like in the I Ain't Mad Ya video, when Biggie left the museum, Biggie's killer stalked him then killed him, and that's exactly what fans seen play out in real time. Now this is where the rabbit hole goes much deeper. The name of Tupac's album was The 7-Day Theory, but its original title was supposed to be The 3-Day Theory. Why is that relevant? Because Biggie Small's death took place within 3 days of events leading up to his death, which also drew mysteries and theories about his death as well. And that's why the occult told Suge to tell the masses that was original release of the album was March 1997. The Hail Mary video was simply just a continuation of the I Ain't Mad at Ya video. Tupac is seen in a prison cell having a conversation about accepting the harsh reality that he will be in prison forever, and regrets killing his best friend.
Kill my best friend.
Which is exactly what was rumored to have happened. Biggie had Tupac killed, and Biggie's murder was in retaliation to Tupac's murder. Now, the 3-Day Theory. March 7th, Biggie Smalls attended the Soul Train Awards, in which Biggie wasn't nominated for an award, nor did he perform at the award show and was booed. But ironically, the winner of Rap Album of the Year went to Tupac for All Eyes on Me. On March 8th, Biggie attended the Vibe magazine after party. March 9th is where Biggie Smalls was killed.
could explain when you got that call, because you were probably, you know, one of the last people to talk to him. What was his mood like? Because everyone who was with him at the party said he was so happy.
Yeah.
And everybody was having a really good time.
Yeah, we just like, I mean, like, I seen him happy. I've seen him happy before, but like at that party, we just like, and he was so happy to be in LA. You know, not just the party, he was like so happy to be out there. Like he was talking about getting a place out there, and he was just, you know, he like, I remember he was like, yo, he was just so unfortunate that had to turn out like that, because, you know, I mean, it's like you used to going somewhere and having fun, you know, and it's a good thing for you and a good time for you. You have fond memories of being somewhere. Then all of a sudden something happens, and it's just not the same. Every time you go back, it's not the same. You don't have those same experiences. You know what I mean? Like, and this is a place you view it as, you know, one of your favorite places to go, and you know you had like the most fun when you was there. Now all of a sudden when you're there, it's just not the same. It's not the same feeling. You know, and I think at that trip, this is the last trip to LA, he started to get that feeling back, that feeling of this is what I know about LA. This is how I feel, and this is what I remember about LA. This is, you know what I mean, like I'm getting my love, and this is what I remember. This is what I like. You know what I mean? So, and then that party, I guess, it just capped it off. That was just everything. Like that sealed it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is the place I remember. This is where I want to be. You know what I mean? This is one of the places I want to be. You know, I love to be in New York. You know, everyone has their list of favorite places, and they run them down that way. Like, okay, I love here, and then I want to go here, and then I love here. And that was just one of the places that he loved. And I guess that night just was like, probably in his mind, was like, yeah, you know what I mean, it's back like that, you know?
So what do you think made him call you? Like he was just calling you from the party to be like, we're having a great time, come out here?
I'm trying to think if it was him on, I think somebody gave him the phone. I don't know how that happened. I just know, because I was just waking up, and I just know he's on the phone, like screaming to the phone, like extremely loud. And I could just hear the music in the background. He was like, where you at, Playboy? Man, I gotta go then. I gotta go. He was just so happy. I was just like, yo, I'll be out like 2 days or something. I'll be out there, you know.
At the end of the Tupac Hail Mary video, you see a scene taken out of the movie Life starring Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, which was released in 1999. In the movie Life, the plot is about two men who were wrongfully convicted of murdering someone. They were both sentenced to life in prison, then had a falling out and were beefing just like Tupac and Biggie. They put aside their differences, and then they staged their own deaths by setting the building on fire as a distraction to escape.
Wait, you mean to tell me that this is not Ray and Claude in these two boxes? Well, is it, old man?
And that's exactly what you've seen take place at the end of the Hail Mary video. Tupac and Biggie's scripted parents meeting up on the world stage at the VMA Awards was nothing more than the occult hinting that the entire ordeal was simply a motion picture. The awards show took place September 9th, 1999. The same month 2 years, and 2 days later after Tupac died and the same year the movie Life premiered, they stood up on stage reading a teleprompter, also known as a script. Ironically, Jay-Z, who Tupac didn't like and who was Biggie's friend, wins the award, and he so happened took over the rap game next.
I used to tell a nigga, yo, if you
Hey,
want to
you know
make your
what?
money, you gotta rap for the bitches. Do not rap for the niggas.
Yeah,
I told
yeah.
a nigga, don't rap for the niggas. Rap for the bitches. The bitches will buy your records and the niggas want what the bitches want. So all of a sudden he changed from being listen to party and bullshit, listen to his style. He changed from that to Big Papa because of me. He had my album Me Against the World was the second one. He had the first one. I changed everything because Ready to Die came out and it sounded like my album.
I got shot 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I mean, when I left that hospital, me and Pop was laughing and joking. So I don't see how somebody can turn from doing well to doing bad.
So you seriously think that he might still be alive?
I'm gonna tell you this, Pac, you never know.
Oh, there you go.
In the Tupac, I wonder if heaven got a ghetto video. He arrives in a secret location after surviving his stage death in Las Vegas, Nevada. This is where he is born again, as the Biggie Smalls album was titled. There is one scene where Tupac steps onto a bus and drives other entertainers or puppets for the occult, Elvis Presley and Jimi Hendrix, who also had stage deaths as well on the world stage. This tactic was the occult's sneaky way of subliminally hiding in plain sight that these entertainers' deaths were also staged as well. Celebrities don't die. They just exit the world stage.
Tupac alive world? I mean, because you said Nick dead, so I just want to go back.
It's a movie called Wag the Dog. Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro was in it. Okay. They show you in there how America fakes wars when the president is about to go through a scandal.
Yes.
They fake a war, all Hollywood scenes, and so you can be thrown off from the scandal. And when it's time for whoever the Hollywood producer they're using or whatever, the people's involved,
right?
They gotta go. You know they gotta go.
So where is Tupac?
Who knows? Maybe he thinks he's in paradise.
But he's not here on Earth anymore. I'm asking you, is Tupac dead?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if he's here on Earth anymore. But from what I can see,
was Tupac getting down?
Of course. From what I can see, he's around. He's around. And a few other people. But
who? Biggie. Was Biggie?
That's
look. Hey, you know what?
I mean, was he about to expose it?